In 2016, a new TV show hit the digital airwaves and needed a podcast dedicated to chronicling its adventures. An elite team has been assembled for this task. Unfortunately, the world's listeners have not heard of this wonder twin duo. And although they may not be known now, in the future they will be referred to as tomorrow's legends.
Harley, what are you drinking? I can smell it from here.
My friend Al Capone gave me this Canadian whiskey. I thought I'd have some before the show.
Shh! Not so loud. The feds are right upstairs. We barely got out of sight down here.
Oh, right. We're in our hidden location. Okay. But let me finish this bottle first.
Welcome, Legendaires, to our non-alcoholic podcast.
I'm not really drinking, guys, I swear.
Thought we'd have some fun with that. This is Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 8, The Chicago Way. I am The Flash.
And I'm Harley Quinn.
Welcome, everybody. So, let's get right to it, Harley. We've had some marathon sessions lately.
Yeah, we have. And especially with me not being like 100%, but we had some great discussions.
Yeah, well, you're quite the trooper, so let's, I'll try to hold you back with a much more efficient show tonight.
I think it'll be okay. Plus, you gotta edit those monstrosities that we create anyway, so I feel like that's payback in and of itself.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, this one was quite a fun show. Let's get into our impressions. What'd you think?
All right. Well, I gave this one 8.5 Lifetime Presents Repunner's Life Story. I thought it's a solid story, and it moved like our whole overall story forward quite a bit, which I really liked. And, you know, anything with Prohibition and Al Capone, that's gonna be good. But I wish we got some more of that. I would have liked to have seen more of like the Al Capone, Elliot Ness dynamic and kind of like messing with that, and definitely would have liked to see less of this Mick and Amaya storyline. I'm a little over it already. But I did love that we got another member for our Legion of Doom. And we, at least we the audience, we get to see where Rip is hiding at the very end, hence my rating.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that as we get through, because that brings up some questions for sure.
For sure. So, what was your rating?
I gave this one an 8 villainous trios.
Nice.
I thought it was a pretty fun episode. I love this time period, gangsters and crime bosses. It's always fun stuff. You know, movies like they mentioned in the show, The Untouchables, and there was one with called Mobsters that had a few actors, popular young actors. I don't know if you saw that one back in the, I think it was the late 80s, early 90s that one came out.
I don't think I've seen that one, but there was a recent history, like, it was one of those, like, 3 miniseries things. It's kind of like a long movie called Mob City, and that was excellent.
Okay. Well, along those lines, I mean, I just love that time period. It's just fun. And, I mean, anything, as you said, based on Al Capone, he's such a notorious historical figure. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he ran the crime sprees for so long, and he did so much. It's just, they've got so much they could pull from. And I just love that they mentioned him smuggling Canadian whiskey through, because we learn about that in school up here, how Al Capone had tunnels going under the border between Canada and the US, and that's how he would smuggle the booze out and stuff like that. So it was just really neat that they actually mentioned that. You know, because the Flash, he's up in Canada in the United States, so it was kind of cool.
That is cool.
For me, the standout of this entire episode, though, was Thawne. He has really become the best villain of all 3 shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I it's his standout performance, and by Matt Lesher, who plays Thawne, and the writing that they're giving him to work with, it's just phenomenal. I'll talk more about him later, but yeah, he's just phenomenal. And then, as you mentioned, the Legion of Doom, it's looking like they're going to be worthy adversaries to all of our teams from the shows, as right now they're outsmarting the good guys, and they're building themselves up and working behind the scenes, and our good guys don't know what's going on. And it looks like we might have a very worthy, not just one bad guy, but a group of them. And I think that's going to be fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I do too. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of them.
Well, let's get into this episode, shall we?
Oh yeah, let's dig in.
All right. Well, the first thing, did you notice it's Vixen doing the opening monologue this time?
I did. It took me a minute at first. I was like, who? Okay. Vixen got one. All right. That's cool.
It's just kind of strange that she gets it ahead of some of her other main cast that have been there for the full 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're, I guess, I don't know. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to how they're deciding who's doing the monologue, so I've given up trying to guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. Well, where do you want to start first? What do you want to jump in on?
Well, do you want to really dig into this, like, main storyline? I mean, it kind of all starts, it starts right at the very beginning with Darhk and Merlyn and Thawne. They all kind of are trying to team up with Al Capone, and so this is really the crux of our entire episode.
Sure.
So we're going to just kind of run through some points here.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So right in the beginning here, I think that Damien Darhk actually does have his powers, because he says to Thawne, you or me, like, who's going to go ahead and stop Capone's henchmen?
When they all pointed the machine guns at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. Because I was pretty sure in the other episodes we've seen him, it really seemed like he did not have his powers yet, because we were all theorizing if this is why he's going after all these ancient relics, is so he can get his power. And Thawne is kind of leading the way for him to do that. And yet, when he says, you or me, that's the first thing that pops in your head. I'm like, oh, okay. He's a really good fighter, he's a trained assassin, but he was still standing like 20 feet away. There's no way he could dodge the bullets or outrun them or whatever to take these guys out. So it makes sense that he has to have his power. So did we miss something? Has something changed? Or has he always had his powers?
I don't know. Because it just really didn't seem like he had powers at all in the previous episodes. And especially in the 80s episode when when Thawne was telling him, hey, I can give you true power. And so I don't know, I guess we all kind of thought maybe he was referring to his powers and stuff, but maybe he's already got them. I don't know if we have missed something or if they've purposely not shown it to us. I don't know if I think we're supposed to be guessing, to be honest.
That would be strange though, if for them to purposely cut out showing us and then suddenly has powers. That to me would be a bad writing decision, because you would think up to this point we haven't seen him use his powers yet, and he should have somewhere. Yeah. Unless he's just so all high and mighty on himself, he doesn't think he needs to, because he's just dealing with goons pretty much most of the time.
Yeah, just rely on his League of Assassin training or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was an interesting comment. It stood out to me. So
yeah. Well, you could be right. They did that to get us thinking and have us guessing. So
yeah,
I don't know. But Malcolm Merlyn,
yeah,
showed up.
I know he's joined Team Legion of Doom. I'm pretty excited. I love Malcolm Merlyn.
Well, isn't it funny how happy, I'm guessing you were too, how happy I was to see him, because I always enjoyed him on Arrow.
Me too.
Going through all the different crazy story arcs he's gone through. I just always enjoyed him and his performance, and we're 8 episodes in on all 3 shows, and we have not seen him until now.
I know. That's what I was just thinking. I mean, granted, I have not watched, this week's Arrow yet, but I was like, cause he sort of showed up in the crossover a little bit, and I was like, we have not seen him at all. I was like, I wonder, what he's up to. And then, cause I had forgotten that he was supposed to be on our show, and then he showed up today, and I was like, oh, yay. There he is. I love John Barrowman. He's so funny.
He's funny. Well, little side note, did I ever tell you the story that I got to be part of an interview with him?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got, cause I'm a cameraman, so.
Yeah.
For the expos up here, which are like your Comic-Cons down there, I'm the team lead of my video crew, so every once in a while the people that run the expos that call me up to do special tasks or whatever. And the one time we had John Barrowman up there, I got a phone call from this girl, Lindsay, she deals with all the celebrities and their agents and stuff. She calls me and says, Martin, can you get up to the Gold Room right now? We're going to do an interview. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, great. I grab my camera and whatever. And the Gold Room is this super secret hideaway room where the celebrities get to go hide on their break times from autograph signing and all that kind of stuff. No one is allowed in there but the celebrities and their agents. It's heavily guarded by security guards and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But I just got invited up to one, so I wander in there, and sure enough, there's all these different big name stars just hanging out and having a coffee and whatever. And I went and found this girl, Lindsay, and we got to interview John Barrowman. And I had to set up a quick little makeshift studio and, in front of a black screen. And we were actually asking him questions about his involvement with Star Trek, because this was during the Star Trek anniversary reunion.
Okay.
25 years or whatever. And so we had a big special coming up. So we were asking him how Star Trek had influenced his life and all that, and he started talking, and it veered off. At this point, I didn't know that he was gay. Oh. So he starts talking about all the captains of all the different TV shows and rating them, which he thought was the hottest.
I love John Barrowman.
So he's going through them, and of course he gets to Captain Picard and Captain Archer from Enterprise, and how he would like to have the two of them in a hot tub one day at his place with nothing on. And I'm sitting there holding the camera trying to keep my cool, because I'm just now realizing, oh my God, I didn't know this about John Barrowman.
Oh my God.
And the stories he was telling about what he would like to do with them in this hot tub, and we're thinking, this is not a PG interview anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh man, and the look on Lindsay's face, because she was the one asking the questions, her jaw dropped and her eyes were like wide open like saucers. She was speechless.
That's amazing.
That's my little story with John Barrowman.
Your John Barrowman
Me,
experience.
him, and Lindsay.
Oh my God, that is amazing. He cracks me up.
Funny guy. So back to our regularly scheduled podcast.
I know. Oh my God, I could go off on a tangent for John Barrowman forever, so we should probably not. But yeah, so let's just move on with the podcast here.
Yes, it was cool to see him.
It was
on our show.
Yeah, we're happy he's here.
The three of them standing side by side like that, you're just kind of rubbing your hands, going, "Oh boy, this is going to be good."
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, so we kind of, let's dig into a little bit of the reason of why our team ends up getting called here. Well, like if you're thinking about history of how it should happen, Elliot Ness, he originally arrived in Chicago completely undetected. Like Al Capone didn't know he was there. I don't think many people knew he was there, although he was pretty famous, I think, in New York at that time. And so historically, he was able to investigate Al Capone and build a case and eventually nail him.
See, this, sorry to interject, this is what I thought was so cool about this episode, because they are drawing on some actual history.
Yeah.
And they took what actually happened, and they're like, how can we write a story intertwined with that? What can we do with that? And that's why this episode was fun, because they weaved something into actual historical account, which I thought was very cool, which I thought Legends has the capability of doing.
I agree, yeah. And they do it well when they do it. So right. I really enjoyed it too. No, that's okay. So basically our trio of time meddlers here, they've tipped off Al Capone, and that's what ends up causing the aberration, and because they capture Elliot Ness, and they basically, they're gonna kill him. I mean, we end up saving him, spoiler alert, but the whole point was to lure our legends there into 1927. Right. So they do make an attempt to kind of save Elliot Ness, but Ray lets him go off with the completely corrupt police force because he doesn't understand history. And then Stein he's so distracted by all these new memories he's getting of his daughter that it completely doesn't even hear Sara when she says it to intercept Ness. It's
no,
just
not
like,
at all.
Are you kidding me?
But I have to say though, Ray certainly suits that 20s style.
Yeah, he does. Much better than any of the others.
Yeah, it just looked good on him. He could totally be one of those monologuing private eyes that used to be in the old serials or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of like a film noir kind of thing.
You know, that type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. I could totally see him doing that. I think there was an entire, I want to say it was a Castle episode where they did that. And then there was also a Fringe episode in that style too.
Yep.
But anyway.
They even did it on Star Trek when Picard was playing Private Eye.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
On the old holodeck.
Nice.
Oh, and then of course, when they're kind of going through all the characters in this, I don't know what station they were at there. They were at a train station or something, but
yeah.
You see old Mick in a conductor outfit. And he just looks silly. He always looks silly in all his costumes that they put him in. I think that's kind of like a silent running gag, is how goofy can we make Mick Rory look?
I think so. And it's funny because he has a comment later in the episode where he's like, I'm done playing dress up. And it's like, yeah, that's basically what you're doing. It's really funny.
It just makes me laugh every time. Every time they first arrive at a time period, and then the moment we see him for the first time in costume, I'm just laughing.
I know. He always has some of the goofiest stuff on. It's great. Oh, man. Well, luckily for us, we have a historian, so Nate ends up saving Elliot Ness in the nick of time because he knows exactly where he's supposed to be killed.
Yeah.
So.
Good thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very good thing. So, our team shows up and we get to see Vixen use a new power. That was kind of cool. She turned into a dolphin, I think.
Yeah, and you even heard the dolphin, I don't know what you would call it, the dolphin, it's not really a cry, but
yeah.
She's diving off the dock and landing. I mean, cool. That's cool. I had no idea she could use water animals, so that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I didn't either. Mostly
would be proud.
Yeah, she usually uses, like jungle animals, so I was a little surprised. I was like, well, who's gonna go get him? He's sinking to the bottom of the ocean. He can't die.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is cool. And hey, that it's showcasing all her different animal skills, and that kind of, I wonder if they heard the fans crying out about it, that they're only seeing the gorilla every time, because every single episode we're seeing a different animal now.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Has there been enough time for them to hear fan feedback and kind of course correct?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's hard to say. They seem to be filming 2 or 3 episodes at a time right now before they're airing, so.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. But, I mean, after we save him, we learned that Gideon has a new skill. Did you know she could reverse brain damage?
Jeez, no. Like, oh, whoa. That's cool. What can't she do now?
I know. I was like, that made me think. I was like, what else can she do? She can do a whole lot.
Yeah, but I mean, granted, she's from how far in the future were those time masters that built these Wave Rider time traveling ships? Like, she is from the farthest points of the future you can get, so technology should be beyond anything we would ever comprehend that could be built and, created. So I think that she can. It's really neat and cool, but it also kind of makes sense. She can heal anything at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting.
And it's really, really a fortunate thing to have for our team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I might have picked a quote that relates to Nate's comment about her being able to fix Rory.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely loved it. That was absolutely right. It shows that Gideon actually has a sense of humor too, so she is becoming kind of a sentient being, which is cool. Yeah,
that's what I like about it. Every time she has a quote, it almost always ends up on my list just because it's just always so funny to me. Like, a computer should not be doing this, but again, she's so advanced. It's awesome.
I can't wait. I want to see them bring her to life in some physical form.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that would be so cool. Kind of like, granted, I'm really behind on the show, but like they're doing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Ada.
Well, Ada's an android body, yeah, but like I mentioned before on Andromeda, which I think you said you never watched. the Andromeda computer created an android version of herself. She had a holographic version of herself, and then she had the ship's mechanic build her a body so that she could go on away missions with the team.
Okay. Cool.
And I would love to see some iteration of that. It would be cool for the game.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so while Gideon is repairing Mr. Elliot Ness, we have a problem, because apparently this is the crucial point in history where he discovers Al Capone's ledger, and this is like the whole thing that brings him down. So, yeah, so Nate, our resident historian, he is letting everybody know this, and he's like, okay, well, we have to go and recover this ledger, because otherwise they're never going to put Al Capone away, and then they'll still have this huge aberration, and he'll apparently become mayor, which is terrifying in and of itself.
Mayor Capone, could you imagine?
No. Oh my god. Him and Ray, and I've got a little section on this later, so we'll delve more into it, but they're like quipping and bickering, like back and forth, and they're just, this whole thing, this whole time, it was bordering on annoying, but it didn't quite get there for me. It was, just like brothers like picking at each other. He's like, no, I want to do it. Well, I think I'm better suited. He's like, I will. Ray's like, well, I look like a G-man.
I feel exactly the same as you. I kept teetering going, come on guys, I don't like this side of you.
I know.
Come on, get along again. Where did this come from? Kind of feeling is what I was getting. And
yeah, exactly.
But they patched up here and there anyway within the thing. Like there's so many funny moments in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, they come back around by the end of it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it's later in our notes here, but I think one of my favorite scenes was when they're practicing sparring in the cargo bay again.
Oh my god.
Sara comes in and basically gives them the mom lecture. Like, quit messing around in here, you two. You're gonna wreck everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was really funny.
She leaves the room and they're both like, quit fooling around, guys. Totally mocking her.
Yeah, it was definitely like two brothers. It was really funny. And, I mean, well, kind of like while we're on them, they need a training room. Why are they always messing around in their cargo bay?
Well, I'm thinking season 3 improvement.
Yeah, they've got to do something. They really, I mean, they've got this pretty sweet library. That's awesome. Now we need a training room.
We need a training room, which they'll have to, I don't know what part of the ship will convert for that.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting. But
well, the prison area where they held, who was the last prisoner they had in there? Savage, when they had Savage in there.
Yeah. Well, but they still need, they put Einstein in there too at one point. But they still need a place to hold people.
That's true, but it doesn't have to be so big.
Well,
when you're holding someone captive, just give them a little 5x5 cubicle.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we need a training room. That's what we need.
Yeah, we definitely need a training room. All right, so this was kind of the point in the episode where, well, we've got Nate and Ray bickering again. And eventually, we figure out that Nate wins the job. He's the one who's going to impersonate Elliot Ness, which is probably for the better. He knows the time period the best. He's the historian. He could probably mimic it the best, even though Ray, I guess, looks the part better. I don't know. So they kind of like mount this mission, and they've got to impersonate Elliot Ness and get FBI backing, basically, to go to this club and recover. Well, they're supposed to be recovering the ledger, which we don't end up doing until later anyway. But they're also supposed to be like just infiltrating. They're originally just infiltrating the club, right? And then it's Thawne and Darhk arrive and screw everything up because they take part of our team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that just throws a whole nother wrench in the works because, Thawne's there and he's unstoppable, and they, at this point, are still not sure who he is and what all is going on. It's pretty crazy.
Well, holy crap, did you see Thawne interrupt Stein and Jax from forming Firestorm?
Yeah, so how did he just, run between them?
Yeah, because they have to physically touch to create that, whatever, that cohesive bond. So before their hands could clasp, he ran through them and broke the contact. And then he came back and he nabbed Stein on his way back.
Okay, got it. I was a little confused what was going on there.
Yeah, he ran through them and broke their contact before they could fully touch each other and merge. So he's learning how to fight our heroes, and that's awesome and scary.
That's terrifying. That doesn't bode well.
Terrifying. which leads into what I was saying, and why he is such an amazing villain, and he's the best one we've had on all three shows. It's showing why him being part of this Legion of Doom that's forming, why that is terrifying. It's gonna be fantastic that we're building this group of villains that is, like I said, going to really be a formidable ally. Or a formidable foe. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I completely agree. Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm really excited of where this is going. Is there still... I thought there was still like another bigger bad we were supposed to be getting to.
I think so. I mean, it's the Legion of Doom. It's not just going to be three guys. There's got to be a good group of them. And I can't remember who else was supposed to be part of that right now.
Yeah, I know. I can't either. But I thought there was like supposed to be a bigger bad than just these three guys, if you can imagine a bigger bad.
Well, there might be, but you know what? I'm happy if they don't. I think they don't need it. Building a team.
That's true.
Hence the Legion of Doom. You don't need it. It's a team. We've got our superhero team, so now we're going to have our supervillain team. It's right out of the cartoons. There was the Legion of the Doom in the cartoons, which I think was pulled from the comics originally anyway.
Yeah.
And the Legion of Doom in the cartoon, had Lex Luthor and Black Manta and all these different guys from all over the place. It was great. So we're getting our TV version of that, and I don't think we need a singular big bad. We're going to have a team.
That's true. Oh, that's a good point. And I like that. But, cause I really like the villains that they've pulled in. I love all of those villains. Well, I mean, I didn't care for what they did with Damien Darhk on Arrow, but I love that actor, and I'm liking him more on Legends, so I'm just glad he's still around.
Yeah. Well, I think Snart is supposed to eventually be part of that.
Oh, I think you're right. That would be amazing. They're gonna have to nab him from a prior time period. That's the only way it's gonna work. Because if he can't be like reincarnated, because then he would be a hero. But if they nab him from a previous time period, then he's still his villainy self. Yeah.
Which will cause... Yeah, I mean, if they do that, I'm interested to see how Mick's going to approach that whole idea.
Yeah. Oh, that could be disastrous. I wonder if that maybe lends a little bit more credence to what they did with his visions, which I've got a little later in our notes to tackle. But
okay. Yeah. We'll get to that part in a bit.
Yeah, so we'll get there. Let's kind of finish this out. We've got a couple more points here. What I liked is that Jax has a plan for how to defeat a speedster, and because he found this gun that like zaps I don't know if it zaps the speed force out or it stops them for whatever reason, and that was in Rip's secret armory, which I found incredibly interesting given the context of Future Barry's message.
So you think Rip was maybe planning ahead because Barry's message says don't trust him, so Rip went and found a weapon that could stop him?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely.
Okay, so that makes me feel a little better, because I was kind of like, gee, that's awfully fluky with the timing of that. Kind of like in the crossover episode when Oliver, Team Arrow is escaping the alien ship. They get stopped by aliens, and, oh, look at Oliver just reaches to the side. There happens to be a gun on the wall.
That's true. That was very convenient.
Yeah, so this convenience kind of seemed like, we've got a speedster amongst us that's terrorizing everybody. I just found a gun that happens to slow him down. So that's what I was kind of feeling at that moment.
Okay.
If it has something to do with Future Barry's message and Rip preparing for it, then that'll make it a little bit better.
That's what I think, especially now that we've heard the whole message and we know that he was basically telling Rip, the next time you see me, you can't trust me. So and he's building up this armory. I mean, he's got to have something to stop a speedster because, as we have noticed, unless you have another speedster, they're pretty much unstoppable.
They are. Which I think is absolutely cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's God, I'm tripping over my descriptive words tonight, but I love that idea that the speedsters are so unstoppable and nobody seems to have a way to counter them, which is what's making Thawne so thrilling this season, so terrifying, because he's whipping around doing whatever he wants and nobody has a clue. Even Mick says, he's like, what was one of Mick's lines in there? He's like, we can't stop the speedsters. What did he say? Do you remember the line?
Not the exact one, but it was basically, you can't stop the speedster.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
don't.
I mean, he knows from his experience against Flash, so.
Yeah. It was something along those lines, like, you can't stop speedsters, or, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say before we move off the gun, though, is that I think it surprised Thawne when Jax hit him with it, and he gets up, he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
A gun to stop speedsters? He's like, too bad you didn't read the manual or whatever, it only lasts momentarily.
Yeah, so it seemed like he was surprised that Jax had it, but then at the same time he knew that it wouldn't last for very long. So I was curious if he had encountered it before, and he was just surprised they had it because maybe it's like future tech.
Well, and we don't know how far into the future Thawne has traveled either, if he's gone to the future or not.
Yeah, or for that same matter, Rip could have gone anywhere and picked up that gun.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But I did like what there is really amplifying with Thawne being so scary.
Menacing?
So terrifying. Menacing, thank you, that's a good word. So what I liked is that the visuals they're giving to amplify how menacing Thawne is when, after the gun hits him, about 5 seconds later, you see the red lightning, the red energy coursing through his eyes and all around him, and he's like, and it's at that point when he's saying, too bad you don't realize it only lasts for a moment.
Yeah.
Just that red, like, wow, is he menacing, and like I said, with Matt Lesher's performance, they're piecing together a villain that is gonna just stand above all the other villains we've had so far. Vandal Savage, who's that? We got Thawne here. Like, this is what a villain is supposed to be, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they screwed up big time with Savage, but oh well, gotta move on, right?
And I like Thawne.
I know, I do too. I love him. He's a great villain. Well, let's move on here. I love that it was Rory that came up with the plan to save Sara and Stein. We kind of get the criminal's approach. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll throw in a little Firefly nod here. Let's be bad guys. Is pretty much what he was saying.
Yeah. It was awesome. And so, I mean, it was cool to just have him step up and be like, listen, we're going to do it this way. And kind of like insert himself into the conversation, especially since before he's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to stay here. And so it was nice to see him kind of step back up and volunteer to be a part of the team and basically be like, but we're going to do it my way.
Yeah. He saw the opportunity to help the team out the way he knows best.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I like that. But meanwhile, we've got Stein being tortured, so to speak. We see that shapeshifter device again from Thawne. Were you excited to see that? Did you recognize what it was?
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, but he immediately says, this used to cause very painful death or something. What did he say? This used to kill people.
Yeah,
but now it's just going to cause a lot of pain, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be bad.
Well, yeah, because we know from Flash, we know what that device is. We know what happened he used it to steal Harrison Wells' looks, basically, back in season 1 of Flash. Mm-hmm. So we know what's coming, and doesn't that, because he says he improved it, so it should only cause pain now. Like, does that not tell us a little bit about which version of Thawne this is? Because we weren't sure which Eobard Thawne this was. Was it the future? Was it the one from 2016? Was it...
Oh, when he came from?
Yeah, we hadn't quite really figured that out yet. So this really kind of gives us a hint.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, especially based on that comment, I think we're supposed to assume that this is Eobard Thawne's present. And so basically, like, the last event that we saw him participate in on the Flash, which would have been Flashpoint, right? I think we're supposed to assume that from that point forward, this is the same Thawne.
Because Flash had to let him go.
Yeah. Well, because he had to help Barry put the timeline back, but he didn't put the timeline back. Basically, he said, well, this will work for me, haha, and then he left.
Too bad for you, yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
and
so that's the Thawne that I believe this is, or it is that Thawne.
I agree, and I think he came from that point in time of Flashpoint to our show. I think that's the progression, and I think the statement confirmed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one theory we can put to rest that we now have answers to.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. But how cool is the effect of him searching for the amulet on the Wave Rider, and then you kind of see Jax come to the realization and all of those scenes? That was pretty cool.
When he was disguised as Stein?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was cool, because Jax is just watching him, and all you see is Stein standing there in the middle of the room looking all creepy, like Blair Witch Project creepy.
Yeah.
Just standing there, and then all of a sudden, he starts running, and yeah, I mean, Jax immediately knows what it is and what's going on, and he tries to get hold of Sara, and the radio comms are down. And...
Yeah, so did she just not have hers in? Because she clearly had no idea what was going on.
Well, Jax said something about they've blocked the...
Oh.
Something. He said something like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I missed that piece. Okay, that makes more sense.
Alright, so Harley, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. There's a couple points we wanted to talk to before we get to that scene on the Wave Rider when Stein is not actually Stein.
Yeah, let's jump into the whole thing about, that kind of revolves really around him and what's going on with him and his daughter. And then that'll kind of lead back up to these scenes. So, I mean, what we noticed from the beginning of our episode is that he keeps getting more memories about his daughter, and so it's making her more real to him, even though he never really experienced these memories, but they're in his head as if he did. So now he can't see her, he actually now sees her as his daughter, and he can't see her as an aberration.
Right.
So that is kind of problematic if he's technically supposed to find a way to erase her.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever wanted to right from the get-go. I don't think he was thinking about that at all. He was really focused on what he's feeling.
Yeah, well, once he started getting more of the memories, and then after he met her in the crossover episode, because at first he was like, oh, she's an aberration, I have to fix this. And now he's like, no, she's my daughter. Maybe, he's like, well, maybe if, like, her contributions, like, to the timeline are more minimal, like, she would go undetected and it wouldn't really be a big deal. So I don't know. He definitely does not want to get rid of her.
I mean, you can't really blame him. It's a different aberration that we've seen, or a different trickle effect through time that we've seen happen to the team before. None of them have ever had this type of effect directly, or I should say this type of incident directly affect them. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got the scene, this was just kind of like the background, and this really sets up these scenes right here with Stein and Sara. They're kind of going back and forth. This is just before he gets taken away to be, tortured, quote unquote, when, when the Reverse Flash steals his identity. But right after they've been captured, Merlyn kind of comes in, and he has a very interesting deal for Sara. He basically says that he'd give her back 9 years of her life, and they would make it so that she never got on the Queen's Gambit, and she would have a completely different life, and Laurel would still be alive, and she could she'd have this whole new life. And so he outlines that, and, they kind of go back and forth for a while, just saying different things. He's like, you lost your sister, and she's like, and you lost your son. And Merlyn, he's like, yeah, we could have a clean slate for both of us. And she's like, I can't do that. So she ends up turning him down, which I was like, that took an amazing, I think, amount of willpower, especially to see, how far she's come just in the last couple of episodes, about her sister and getting some closure and everything.
Yeah, she has really turned that around, and I don't want to upset Patty Spivot by saying character growth. It's just good to see her learning.
It is.
Not being kind of the spoiled brat where she just like, I don't care, this is what I'm going to do, and go and do it, acting on emotions or whatever. She's actually now thinking and listening to the people around her and understanding that they're looking to her as their leader, and she's got to really think things through a little bit better. So for her to come to that, like you said, bit of closure about her sister is, it's great for her character, and it's great for us to see that she is becoming that.
Yeah. I can't say what I was about to say, so let's just talk about Dr. Stein, where, you just kind of like see like this look on his face. You can tell he's about to confess because he feels really guilty because of what he's currently doing, and he doesn't want to erase his daughter, even though she's an aberration, but he's putting himself before the timeline and, the sanctity of time.
Oh man, and Sara, without even knowing, Sarah's just laying on the guilt in like heaps and spades on his shoulders, and she doesn't even realize it.
I know. I think that's what was so great about that scene. And she was just like, well, I learned, from a really great teacher. And he was like, oh yeah, Rip. And she's like, no, you. I was like, oh, he's got to feel about like 2 inches tall based on, what he's got to confess.
Well, and when he does start confessing, I mean, that performance by Victor Garber, you could see him thinking about his daughter as he's trying to tell the story to Sara and what she means to him now. Mm-hmm. Just amazing as always. Every performance like that Victor Garber gives, you feel what he's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have not seen many actors become the character in the role that like he is doing.
Yeah, no, I love him as an actor. He's very good. So let's kind of jump into the torture scene here. What do you...
I'd rather not.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna like torture you. Although, no, I'm just kidding.
I have a feeling you secretly somehow would really like
to. Hey, I'm a villain. I've got to live up to my something. I don't know. I
think you're kind of a little bit more like Mick. You're getting a little bit soft.
Hey. You better watch it. I'm going to smash you with my big hammer over here.
Uh-huh. Or that bottle of Canadian whiskey that's in your hand still?
Yeah. Smash it. It's over your head.
Well, this torture scene, it was painful to watch and painful to hear because, again, Victor Garber's performance, that's the pain that he sounded like he was in. Because we love Stein so much, it was almost unbearable to listen to for those few seconds.
I know. I felt so bad for him. I was like, oh, leave him alone.
Poor guy, yeah. Oh. And it was kind of, where it was different when Thawne took over Harrison Wells' body, he stuck it in the roof of his mouth. This time he stuck it into Stein's shoulder.
Yeah. No, it was definitely different. The first one was very, very Fringe. Like, that was straight out of Fringe. But this one, it was a little different. It was a little more compact, a little more advanced.
Maybe?
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't kill him, so it's definitely a step in the right direction if you're gonna steal someone's identity,
Yeah, yes.
I mean, I'm glad that they had the little, like, lines in there just about how he's improved it and now it doesn't kill people and all that. I mean, yeah, a lot of it's convenience and plot device, but at the same time, they're not going to kill Martin Stein. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
Yeah.
Wouldn't.
But, so this kind of brings us all back full circle to him being in the library. And
yes,
I had this other point that I want to talk about because when Sara walks in, she obviously doesn't know it's Thawne, and she's trying to talk to him about the fact that he confessed about his daughter. And now Thawne knows that Stein has a daughter back in 2016. So how much trouble is that going to cause?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the more that gets found out about his daughter, the more ways our bad guys have at getting to our team.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. It just makes me cringe. I'm like, oh, he's going to do nothing but bad with this information.
Oh, very true. But I have to say, though, again, like, holy crap, did you feel the tension when Sara walked into the library when Thawne is standing there disguised as Stein? It was like edge of your seat intensity. Mm-hmm. What is Thawne going to do? They had the music there. You're on the edge of your seat. Sarah's questioning him, and Thawne is... you're just like, get out of there, Sara, get out of there. Like,
stop talking.
Yeah, like what? Thawne is just waiting for his moment. What? And I mean, the entire sequence, because right after that, when he does speed out of there, and he's down the hallway, and Jax hits him with the speedster gun, which was friggin' cool, by the way. That whole slow motion takeout in the hallway.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know, but then he recovers from it, and he's got Jax up against the wall by his throat, and he's crushing his throat, and Jax is like, hurry up and do what you're gonna do, and, and Adam's on his shoulder there, which was awesome as well. The little Adam punch when he's tiny, because he's, The intensity was awesome. That was a great sequence of events.
It was, yeah. No, that was a really fun sequence. I liked everything that kind of happened in there. It was just one of those things where you kind of just sit back and you take it in and you just enjoy it. It was really good.
Especially those moments in the library when Sara doesn't know yet. And you could see Thawne just boiling underneath Stein's skin, just boiling to come out. I was gritting my teeth and grabbing the couch and squeezing it, going, no. Like, what's he gonna do?
I know, and Victor Garber played that so well.
Oh my god.
I mean, he's, playing an evil speedster playing Stein, That was awesome.
Not able to contain himself quite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was very well done. It had me, I totally was seeing him as like a completely different character in that moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there, it kind of jumps from there when Sara because Malcolm now comes on board the Wave Rider, and he comes face to face with Sara. And that was a long time coming, that battle. It was a completely different, no superpowers at all. It was a good toe-to-toe beat-down fight sequence. That was a long time coming.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fantastic. I mean, kind of a good and a bad point about it here. You could tell that actually was Katie Lotz fighting, because she does all the fight training and she's the one in there. But you get the other side of it, you could totally tell it was a stuntman and not John Barrowman at all.
Especially when he hits the wall and goes like flying.
Yeah. So, I mean, great fight sequence. It's just, you're like, oh, you guys, you didn't cover that one up very well, but whatever. The history of that fight is what I thought made it so cool. It was also intense in a different sort of way, because this one-on-one has been coming for a long time.
Oh, yeah. No, it totally did.
Yeah.
That was great, though. But, so the end of this whole fight sequence, there's, like, one last little point that wraps up these two, like, main storylines that we're doing. And so, obviously, we figured out we don't have the real Stein. And at this point, Matt Lesher, I'm just using the actor's name now because why not?
Yeah, but where'd that come from?
Because I'm tired of the last thing I saw in our notes. Anyway, so Eobard Thawne has sped off, and so the only person that we have is Sara's now battling Malcolm Merlyn. And so, she strikes a deal with him. She basically hands over the amulet to him and then is able to go and rescue Stein, who Al Capone is literally about to throw in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we save Stein, yay, and he's reunited with our team.
Pretty shaken up, though.
Oh, God, I know. I feel bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
But we finally get to learn what the deal is with these amulets, or, as the case may be, one single amulet in two pieces.
Oh, you're jumping to the end, the last scene there with our three Legion of Doomers.
I was going to, yeah. I know we've got a couple. I wanted to cover like Nick and Amaya, and then obviously the very last scene separate. But I think these ones kind of lead up to each other. Is there anything in between that I missed before?
No, I was just going to make a kind of a fun note.
Oh yeah.
Did you see when because you were saying when Sara rescued Stein and brought him back on the ship and he's all shaken up and stuff and they're all standing around kind of talking. Did you see Katie Lotz's arms and her shoulders? She's ripped.
She is in general. She does fight training and stuff. So.
It really stood out. There's that scene she had her hand on her hip or something. I don't know. Anyway, her shoulders and everything. Everything was just bulging out. I'm like, holy crap, she's ripped. Look at her.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't, not gonna lie, I didn't notice that. Now, if that had been Stephen Amell, I probably would have noticed.
Yeah, see. But then also in that fight when they are rescuing Stein, there was a couple of shots that Mick threw, which were heavy-handed hits that it looked like he was wielding a sledgehammer the way he was punching a couple of guys around. There we go. Like I like seeing Mick get in on the hand-to-hand because it's just brutal violence when he fights. He doesn't know anything but street-style fisticuffs, and you could really feel his hits being landed for sure. Anyway,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Those are the 2 points I wanted to throw in about that whole scene, so now we can...
Oh yeah, well that's cool. So after we rescue Stein, so that's good. And then we learn what's going on with these amulets, or single amulet, as we find out.
Did you love the banter between the three of them? Like, first, like Matt Lesher's... Sorry, now you're getting me doing it. Eobard Thawne is just sitting there being like the vigilant leader of the three, and it's like Malcolm and Damien Darhk are taking turns seeming the smart one, and the other one's making fun of the other one, and then they reverse it. It was like a back and forth. You're smart, I'm dumb. No, I'm smart, you're dumb, kind of thing.
You're more than just a pretty face, Merlyn.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Sorry, I interrupted that.
No, that's okay. That scene, it was priceless. It was just I loved the banter between the three of them. But through all that banter, we learned that it's not a pretty planetarium, it's a compass.
And as Dark points out, a compass usually leads to something.
Yes, it finds things. Very nicely put. And apparently this compass, this very complicated compass, finds the Spear of Destiny, which sounds ominous and terrifying, because you can, rewrite all of reality? Is that what he says?
Yeah. They first deduced that this was the last spear that pierced Jesus while he was being crucified or something like that. And then that's when Thawne said, well, now it can rewrite reality.
So that's not good.
That's kind of not a cool thing to have in their hands, no.
No. These are the three people that you do not want to have the Spear of Destiny.
No.
So I don't know. I
would be happy giving them a crayon of coloring, but not a Spear of Destiny.
I love it. The crayon of coloring. That's fantastic. I like the Scepter of Delayment.
Yeah, see?
Fantastic. Oh, well, I don't even have a good theory of what they could even do with this, because they could literally do anything with it if they find it. So
well, They didn't lead into where it was going, did they? Did they say where it was or where they had to go find it?
No. They just, well, if we maybe like screen capped and did some homework, I wonder if we might be able to figure it out from what the compass showed, but I did not have time to do that prior to recording our show.
Oh, right. Well, allow me while you go on to our next point. I will take a peek.
Okay, you take a peek. So that brings us through the main parts of the episode, and so now there's two more things that I want to touch on. The first one is the scenes with just Mick and Amaya, and apparently Snart, who has resurfaced in Mick's imagination, which completely cracks me up. So I think it's really interesting that one, he's seeing Snart and he's kind of basically chastising him for remaining a part of the team. And so the interesting thing about that is that that's his own subconscious, because as he so rightly points out, Snart is dead. And for being an imaginary guy, he's kind of, pain in the ass.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's being Snart.
Yeah, exactly, which is hysterical. But I think that it's really telling that he basically is seeing like the little devil on his shoulder. And so is he doubting his commitment to the team, or is he doubting just like why he's risking his life for them? Or I don't know. I was trying to figure out why he was seeing Snart.
Those are good questions, because I'm unsure myself. Is he struggling with his place on the team? Is he struggling with struggles? Yeah, but is he struggling being a good guy or a bad guy? Like or is he struggling being alone? And I think that kind of is what it is I think he's missing Snart still. And
that's true.
I think Snart coming to talk to him is kind of his mind playing on that idea that he's missing his partner in crime, but it also opened his eyes to Amaya because she comes to help him, and it kind of brings him around that he kind of has a new partner now, and he's got new people in his life that do have his back when he needs, and as long as he does the same for them, he's kind of supported, and he's kind of getting new friends, and Amaya is one of them. So I think it's Mick softening a little because he kind of argues with Snart. And says, well, if I do what you tell me to do, then I'd be dead too.
Right, exactly. That's a very good point. He does say that at the very end.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of my feelings right now. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like he's struggling with being alone and not having a partner, and now he's realizing, wait a sec, I do have a new partner, and I do have friends, kind of.
Yeah, and I like that take on it. I don't know. I still feel like they're trying to have an undercurrent of romance slowly building between him and Amaya. Whoa. And it's kind of bothering me because I don't want that to happen at all. Like, I like the angle of them being like close friends, of them being partners in crime. I like that approach, and I am really wanting them to keep it just to that. But
that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's not a very detailed nitpick, but I'll just explain more when we get to that section. But,
okay.
I mean, she kisses him on the cheek and she gives him a hug. So I don't know. I just,
which was
about it. What?
That was the funniest hug I've ever seen.
I'm hungry.
I mean, Mick, he was so surprised by the embrace, and he couldn't even get his arms fully around her. He just caught himself in it and realized, yeah, moving on, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if it was like a moving on. He was just like this is really awkward, I'm hungry, go away.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That was funny. So, yeah, anyway, so I'm hoping that it's not a budding romance, that it's truly just them being friends and a partnership, and that's just her way of showing that she appreciates him.
Okay, well, we'll go a little more into it, I guess, when we get there.
Yeah, I'll talk about it in my nitpick a little bit more, but...
Okay.
Alright, Did you have a chance to look at the compass?
I have it on screen right now.
Okay.
And it is nothing recognizable. It is a sphere. It kind of looks like a like a universe. Sorry, I have it in slow-mo at the moment, and I'm just trying to... Yeah, no, there's no names, there's no words, there's nothing discernible at all. It's triangles, hexagons, circles, and a bunch of bright points connecting them all. That's it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we'll have to see what it means. I'm very curious.
Yeah. It could have just been a real cool graphic and not even the creators know what it means.
That's probably more likely.
So, there we go. Anyway, yeah.
All right. Shall we talk about our final scene?
Yeah, I am unsure how I feel about it. This really caught me off guard. I mean, they mentioned his name, and then the scene was changing. I'm like, oh, wait, we're going to see Rip.
Yeah, because someone's going to go look for him.
Yeah, not the people that should be going to look for him.
No.
But this is where I'm confused. You can talk about what you think about the scene. I'm confused. Does Rip know or remember everything, and he's in hiding as this movie director character, or did he get thrown back in time to this point and he has no idea? He just woke up and he's this person. This is who he is, and he's just living his life. Like I couldn't tell. It was weird. I got such a weird vibe from that because, in all honesty, I haven't been missing him at all. I really didn't care if he came back. So to see him again, I didn't get that burst of emotion. Oh, it's Rip! Yay! Like the same feeling we've been waiting on to get Snart back. I did not have that for Rip. So when he showed up on screen, I was just like, okay. I don't know.
You were kind of let down.
Yeah, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that missing, that reconnection, because I've been missing him.
I mean, I wouldn't say I've been missing him per se. I've really been enjoying the show the way that we have it this season. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was like, oh, okay, cool. We can figure out what actually happened to him. But I think that he isn't hiding. I think that he, faked his death and disappeared himself so that he could kind of go into hiding and do whatever. Because to me, this looks like he's directing a movie about himself.
Yeah, yep, true.
You know what I mean? And so I think that he's just taking his real life stories and making a killing in 1967 LA as an American director. It threw me off. I didn't recognize him, the accent and the long hair. And I was like, is that, oh my God. Yes, that is Arthur Darvill.
Well, for the moment, I thought he was the guy in the action movie.
I did too.
It looked like him for a second until the...
Well, it's supposed to.
Yeah. But I guess you do make a point. I guess the one thing I'm curious, I want the mystery resolved as to where he went, what happened to him. That much I'm curious about. But I feel crappy to say that I don't miss his character. I don't miss him on our team. The team is so much stronger and better without him. That's what I'm initially feeling right now after seeing him.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I feel guilty about that.
That's true. I don't think we're supposed to feel guilty. I mean, they disappeared him for a while for a reason, so we'll just have to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have, I'll believe you. I don't really have a strong theory. I think maybe he is in hiding and he knows it, and why he's hiding, why he let the team go, I don't know. I mean, remember 2 episodes ago, I came up with the theory that maybe he's the one that's in control of all the time pirates and is sending them throughout time to test our team and get them to work together. But this little clip that we saw does not tie into my theory at all.
No, it doesn't.
So unless there's more to it, then I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it seems an awful lot like he's trying to be someone completely different so people don't find out who he really is. Although directing a movie about Rip Hunter is probably not the best idea he's ever had.
Yeah, so maybe he's just making some money.
Alright, well, I think that does it for our main show discussion. Did you have any last points to bring up? Or
no, I'm pretty good, yeah. I think we went through it pretty good. It wasn't a heavy episode. There wasn't a lot of heavy dramatic pull on this episode, other than the scene in the library, which was just tension-filled.
Mm-hmm.
This was pretty much on the surface a fairly light episode.
It was, yet we've still managed to talk for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get to our nitpicks then.
Sounds awesome.
Because we kind of touched on yours, so.
We did.
Form of water.
So, my nitpick, which is sort of a nitpick, sort of not, because it's not confirmed that this is where we're going, but I absolutely want no romances. We don't need it in a show like this because we have too many characters and just too much is happening on screen as it is. And so anything like that I feel like is distracting and takes away from our main storyline, and it's just not needed right now.
Now see, I 100% totally agree with you, and I'll tell you why, is because we have not had romance yet this season, and what's happening this season is leaps and bounds better than last season, and a lot of it has to do with there not being any romance taking away from all the good stuff.
Right.
That's one major point anyway. There's a lot of other reasons, the writing and the stories that they're going with, but there's not been romance on this season, and the show is running absolutely smoothly.
Yep, I totally agree.
But if I can counter your point about it possibly being a romance, I don't totally agree with that. I don't think it is a romance.
Okay.
I think that Mick and Amaya keep getting thrown together because Amaya is on the outside of the group. She's new. She was basically a stowaway on the ship. They didn't invite her to become part of this team.
True.
Mick has always been on the outside. He's always felt like he's on the outside and has never been fully accepted, and he kind of keeps it that way anyway. So I think they're naturally drawn together because of that shared circumstance, and they're becoming comrades, friends, partners, like I had mentioned earlier. I don't think it's a romance. I think they're kind of becoming partners because of their common circumstance.
I really hope you're right, because like I said, I don't want a romance.
None of us do. I don't either. None of us do, so yeah.
Cool. What was your nitpick?
Well, this one was hard for me. This episode, there really was not a lot to nitpick about at all. Even though it wasn't a heavy episode, it was, fairly easygoing. It still ran smoothly, efficiently, and a lot of fun. There really wasn't a lot to pick on. So what I did pull out of it, which is a small one, is the actor that they chose to play Al Capone. Nothing against his acting skill. He actually did a bang-up job. His accent was great. His attitude was great. All of that. It was perfect. His Chicago slang. But he, I thought, was just way too young to be believable as the criminal leader of such a huge organization.
Mm-hmm.
At the point that we were at in the history, he seemed to already have all of Chicago under his grasp and was totally in control of his booze running and the politics, everything that he was involved in. This should have been a much older, more seasoned actor playing that role, playing that Capone. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Because this guy was like a baby face. He looked younger than everybody on there. His henchmen looked older than he did. So
that's true. Yeah, I don't remember how old Al Capone was supposed to have been in 1927, but probably older than that guy looked.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe we should look up some old pictures of what he actually looked like. The story, the history, I kind of picture in my mind a more grizzled, scar-faced kind of guy, hence the
yeah.
Time, right? So yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, kudos to our show for not having really anything huge sticking out that bothered us this time.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Shall we go to our next section?
Yes, it is Quote of the Week time.
Shape out an eagle!
Yay, Quote of the Week. I love the quotes.
As does
Makes me happy.
As does everyone. Well, we have to explain, we do not have winners from last week's crossover quotes yet, because that one is not actually finished yet, and you haven't posted it yet, because we decided we're not going to post the poll until we've released the show. That way people have a chance to listen to them and then make the choice.
Right.
But we're a week behind just because of everything. I made a post on Facebook page, I don't know if you saw that, with you being sick for a week and me doing the movie stuff and everything else in life, it's put us a week behind, and we're trying to play catch up here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I can't.
It's not your fault, because I was behind the previous 2 weeks. It's been a rough month. We've been trying to catch up, and we haven't been able to yet. So
good thing we have a break.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just think about it. When we release this podcast, you're gonna have 3 podcasts to listen to over the course of 7 weeks when you get nothing.
Exactly. That's several hours of us. I'm not sure exactly how many hours, so I'm just not going to say it, but by the time you listen to this, you'll probably already know.
Exactly. All right, Harley, so with no winner this week, what is our first funny quote of the week for this week?
Our first quote is artificial humor.
Special Agent Ness has suffered severe hypoxia. It will take some time to reverse his brain damage.
You can undo brain damage? Why haven't you helped Rory yet?
Who says I haven't?
This one made me laugh out loud.
It got me too, yeah. I actually chuckled with a small burst of laughter. That one's probably my favorite.
It's a good one, for sure.
All right, what's the second one?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Hold that.
Aren't you forgetting something? Nate and Ray?
Those idiots have done nothing but get in the way.
Guys, we're standing right here.
Well, get in the back.
This one is pretty funny, too.
Classic Rory.
Yes. Classic foot and mouth, and he doesn't care.
Nope. It's fantastic.
All right.
Sorry.
Quote number 3.
Quote number 3 was Clue.
Which is a clue all in itself.
I mean, come on. There's no way I was not picking that quote. It's amazing.
It is. I wonder how many people that one slipped by. That was...
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I speak 6 languages.
Stein's about to kill Sara in the library.
With a rope or the candlestick?
Guys, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope more people got it. It was so funny.
All right, what's our last quote for the funny side?
Last one is A Beautiful Mind.
Any luck finding Ness?
By the time you find Ness, you'll be swimming with the fishes.
Nick, you beautiful genius, that's it.
About time someone noticed.
Yes, it is.
Love it. All right, so what do we have for our serious quotes this week? What's our first one?
Well, the first one is just awesome that we get to include this on our show again. It is called Cold Devil.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Leonard. I must be losing my mind.
Of course you are. Why else would you still be here, taking orders like a well-trained puppy? You're not right in the head, Mick. That's why I'm here, to set you straight.
Yay, a snark quote.
I had to find one, and actually it's pretty fitting, so.
Very.
Yeah.
Okay, what's our second quote?
The second one is called Taking Charge.
All right, so let's hear your brilliant idea. Well, I don't have one, but it's going to be better than yours.
Enough! If you want to nail Capone and Rex's killer, you can't do it by playing a Boy Scout or an historian or a policeman. We do this my way. Like a criminal.
Yeah.
Which he does just fine.
Yeah. I love what we're getting with his character. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and our third quote?
Our third quote, this one is going out with full dedication to our dear Patty Spivot. It's entitled, Character Growth.
I'm giving you and your sister a chance to live normal lives, to go back, maybe go to college, meet a nice boy or a girl, and settle down.
No, thank you. I was never meant for those things. And I know that now. And besides, you can't just go back and change things like that.
Why not?
Because time is sacred. And it can't be changed to suit any one person's desire without harming the lives of countless others.
You're welcome.
A great scene, though. I know we're making light of it, but it's actually a pretty serious scene.
Oh, this was an amazing scene. She had some great scenes throughout this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
yeah,
good.
she did. She very much did. All right, well, our last serious quote is ties that bind.
I have to say I am a bit puzzled.
Professor Stein, puzzled.
Protecting history is our team's raison d'etre, yet you traded the amulet to our enemies, a choice which will no doubt have countless repercussions on history.
Well, I'm starting to think that maybe some things are more important than history. You know, you, me, and this team, we're a family. A messed up one, but still a family. I might not be able to save Laurel, but I can protect this family. And that includes yours. What's her name?
Lily.
Lily. It's a beautiful name.
Speaking of great scenes.
Yeah, another one. It's like they've swapped spots for a little while, because Stein used to be the great dealer of wisdom to the team, and right now Sarah's had that the last couple episodes.
Yeah, she has. She's really stepped up in her captain duties.
Mm-hmm. Kind of cool.
Very cool, I agree.
Kevin, the Overlord, must be loving it.
I'm sure he's loving it.
Cool. Well, that is it for our quotes. We'll get that up to you guys as soon as we get the other ones up. As we said, you know why we're late. Well, it's that time again, Harley.
It's time for feedback.
Feedback. And we don't actually have a lot of it this time, which I'm wondering if that's because we didn't get the last show out yet, or this one, again, just, I don't know, not strong enough for people to have anything to talk about.
It's possible it could be a little bit of both. It's all, I mean, you know, it's getting close to time for holidays. I know there's lots of holiday parties right now, so
that's true.
It may just be people are busy.
That's true. That's true. But we got 3 feedbacks in from 3 of our most consistent contributors.
We do. I'm so glad that they emailed us some stuff, so.
Me too. Well, let's kick it off with a voicemail from Ms. Patty Spivot.
Hey, Flash and Harley, it's Patty Spivot calling in. Really liked this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I gave it 8 motherly scoldings. The set was great. I thought the costuming was great. I loved the music. The mobsters were believable, and I thought they were a lot of fun. They added a lot to it. I love the costumes, except for Rory kind of, I don't know why they put him as a train conductor or whatever he was. That was a little bit funny, but it didn't last too long, so that was okay.
To make fun of him.
I don't normally watch the trailers, but someone posted it on the Tomorrow's Legends Facebook page, and I did watch it because there was Captain Cold staring at me, so I was curious.
Oh, I actually haven't seen it.
Based on the trailer, I thought Rory would have more in the episode. I was really looking forward to it because I thought maybe it would be Heatwave and Captain Cold back together and we'd see a lot more of them, and I was a little bit disappointed because he didn't have as big of a part in the episode as I thought he would, but it was awesome to see Leonard Snart back. I was a little bummed though because it did really feel temporary. I don't know if he'll be back again, but I thought the storyline was neat. Just with him sort of tugging at Rory, and he seemed quite torn, and I don't know if it's his subconscious trying to tell him he's on the wrong path or what, but I'm interested to see where they take that and where that ends up. Some of the storylines I thought were a tiny bit contrived, like they were just pushing a little bit too hard with the sibling rivalry thing, although Sara coming in and, you know, being all motherly, I thought that was quite funny. Same with Rory and Vixen. I just thought they were just really spotlighting them, and it felt a little bit forced, I guess, but I think maybe they're setting up for the next bunch of episodes. I'm kind of bummed we gotta wait for 6 weeks, but I guess I'll just catch up on some other shows. The ending, the last 2 or 3 minutes, I was actually utterly confused. I have no idea what that was all about. I kind of felt a little frustrated, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what you two have to say about the end and why they did it that way, or what you guys think. So, looking forward to the podcast, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Mm-hmm. I think she has kind of a character crush on Mr. Snart.
That makes 2 of us.
And that's totally okay. Yeah, she was quite excited to see him. So I understand the disappointment, and I kind of feel the same way. It was so good to see him again and hear that cool voice of his, but yeah, it wasn't the way I wanted him to come back. I thought they could have had such a heavier, more intense return of Captain Cold than what they did. So
yeah.
But well, it's a couple of things she asked about. What was the first thing she asked about what we thought? She wants to know a little more explanation about the end, and I'm thinking she means with Rip there, and she was also very confused with that whole compass idea with our 3 bad guys.
Well, I think we touched on those pretty well within the body of the podcast.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe just to nutshell it here, like they're obviously on the trail of this spear, which is going to give them the power over reality itself, and that's like the ultimate weapon for any bad guy. Yeah. Now they got to go find it, and the 3 of them working together is a lot better chances of that. So.
Right, yeah. So, that's what the whole amulet thing was. It was 2 pieces of one amulet, and it showed them a map to the Spear of Destiny.
Which kind of answered our question, because a couple episodes ago, we were like, wasn't the one amulet really huge, and this one's really small? So what does he want? What does Thawne want with them? Well, we got that answer, so.
Yeah, so I'm glad we got that answered. Yeah, and then the ending with Rip, I mean, the nutshell that, well, at least definitely what I think Rip is hiding in 1967. He's posing as an American director, and it appeared that he was directing a film about his own life.
Right. And that's as much as we have to go on. I mean, I don't...
Okay.
Yeah, to try and create a theory around that. Why? I'm not actually sure. I thought we might be able to come up with something as we discussed it, but I don't know why he would be hiding. Why would he be hiding back there?
Well, I mean, he faked his death for a reason. We just don't know what that reason is, so I think it's yet to be determined.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you, Patty. As always. I think, you know what, we're going to have to do as a mid-season break, I'm going to have to add them up. I believe Patty is probably leading this season 2 feedback count.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Well, have we heard from Kelly Master Wordsmith this season? I think only once.
Yeah, she's, I think, been running behind on things, but yeah, I think we had an email from her last week.
Yeah, we did. So, alright, well, moving on for someone that's given Patty a run for her money is Mr. No Nickname, Denny.
Mr. No Nickname, Mr. Sidekick.
I'm gonna give, cause he's an engineer at work, kind of like an electrical engineer. And I was just thinking of silly names from the DC universe, and there's, what's one of Superman's villains? The metal Superman,
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, so Denny, I was thinking about you being an engineer at work, and I don't know, it's just a silly play on words, but I thought we could call you Engineero.
Hey, it's better than
Sidekick.
Yeah.
Let's throw some names in the hat. Maybe our listeners can help. Let's find Denny a superhero name. I just threw one in the hat, Engineero, because he's an electrical engineer at work, so I don't think it's something else.
Yeah. Or we could, what's someone with like electrical powers?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to think about that one.
Okay, well. His email says, Hello, Wonder Twins. I must say that I enjoyed this 20s episode. Who doesn't love the good old Prohibition, and Al Capone nonetheless is involved. And our villainous duo has become a villainous trio. Malcolm Merlyn, when did Reverse Flash pull him in? And with the compass to the Spear of Destiny, what does Reverse Flash plan to change in the timeline? If I remember correctly, I don't think they really introduced much of the origin story for his character on Flash. I wonder how much it will differ from his comic book counterpart. Huh.
Mm.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only origin I think they revealed is that he's from the future, like farther in Flash's future.
Yeah.
So
and
he's come way back in time. I mean, Spear of Destiny, he might want to change things because his comic book counterpart, he loved the Flash so much. He was like Flash's biggest fan in this future, and all he wanted to do was be Flash's friend and learn from him and be like him and all that kind of stuff. And Flash turned him down, and that pissed him off, and he snapped, and he decided that he's going to do everything he can to hurt Flash instead, because Flash should have accepted him. So maybe that's part of his destiny he wants to change. I don't know. Who knows what they're drawing on, man. They haven't really talked a lot about why Reverse Flash hates him so much in the TV show, I don't think, have they?
No, they haven't.
Yeah. We'd have to go back to season 1 to look, I think, in the last couple episodes to maybe see if he revealed any details about that, but I don't know. Anyway, he continues, it was also great to see our favorite Captain Cold again, but I wonder what is the significance of his elusive appearance. I bet we'll find out when the second half of the season comes by. Well, we all are hoping so.
Yeah, I think right now it was just more introspective into Rory's, to see his kind of frame of mind. But
alright, how did the Reverse Flash get onto the Wave Rider? I would have thought Gideon would have known, and why couldn't they have just told Gideon to close the cargo doors? I feel Gideon is being very underutilized this season. When did he get on the Wave Rider? What's that point in time in the episode that we're...
He was Stein.
Oh yes, there you go, Denny.
They rescued Stein, quote unquote, but it wasn't Stein, it was Thawne, but because he used the shapeshifter device, everybody thought he was Stein.
Yeah.
Because he basically was.
He basically was.
Stein, yeah.
Yep. Silly us, how could we let that slip our memories? As for Gideon closing the cargo doors, I think Reverse Flash is far faster than any door could close.
That's true, but Malcolm Merlyn and his goons aren't.
No. True. So yeah, they kind of had a big grand entrance from the outside, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I agree. Gideon is being underutilized and conveniently forgotten when it suits the plot.
Yeah, well, she's being conveniently stupid as a computer.
Agree.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
We finally found Rip. He's in 1967, directing a film about a rogue time master. And with an accent? What happened here? Did he forget his identity and end up remembering his time adventures as dreams or ideas for a movie? Yeah, we don't know.
We'll see.
Harley has a bit of a theory, but we'll see. I don't have a complete answer for you there yet, Denny. Well, I can't wait for the show to resume where it left off and show us what happens next. So long for now. Still thinking, Denny. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait either. We'll see what happens. There's a few questions in this episode that you and me, Harley, aren't quite able to answer and give our listeners much perspective on.
Yeah, we don't have a lot to go on for any good theories. I mean, literally the sky's the limit for some of these theories, and
yeah,
I don't have a good inkling of where they're going with it, and I don't want to just keep throwing out random crap, so.
Well, anyway, we apologize, guys. Don't have all the answers tonight.
Now, we'll get some more once we come back from the break. It'll be fun.
Well, our third and final feedback possibly has answers for us. She always has amazing introspective to our show and characters, so let's see what the Green Butterfly has to say.
That's true. Let's see what she says.
Hi, this is your eye in the sky Green Butterfly. So the legends have to take on Al Capone so that he doesn't become the mayor of Chicago. I'm telling you, saving history is no joke. There's a lot of hard work to be done here. We got to see Amaya channel a new animal in this episode, a dolphin to be exact, to save Elliot Ness from sleeping with the fishes. Martin is super distracted by memories flooding in about Lily's childhood. Isn't that adorable? She's saying the periodic table instead of the alphabet. Boys will be boys. Sara got so cute and motherly in this episode. And Malcolm Merlyn. She got to fight Malcolm Merlyn. That fight was epic. I should have known Merlyn would be hanging out with the bad guys. We learned Gideon can fix brain damage, and she's tried to help Mick Rory, but now Mick is seeing Captain Cold. Is this brain damage? Or is this a manifestation of guilt now that Rory has accepted a new team? Sara did not take Merlyn's deal. I can't remember the exact quote. Hopefully it will be in the serious ones, but I really loved it. That she'd rather suffer in the present reality, which is real, than to mess with time and live in a perfect reality that isn't real. And of course she misses and loves Laurel, but the legends are her family and responsibility now, and she must stay and fight for them. Sara Lance has come so far from that feral being that leaped out of the Lazarus pit, a blank slate with nothing behind those soulless eyes. Now she is a beautiful, strong, and courageous captain that will do anything for her team, even if it means giving them something, giving the bad guys something that helps them on their quest, and could ultimately allow them to, what? Rewrite history? Oh, this is terrible. But I'm sure our legends will figure it out. And what is Rip doing hiding in Los Angeles 1976? I think we'll find out soon. Ray got to turn into the little Adam this episode. I don't remember if they said this line in the episode, but do you suppose they did that on purpose? So it would be a representation of, say hello to my little friend? And then he helped win the battle. All in all, this episode gets 9 out of 10. Boys will be boys. I got my eye on you, and don't tear up my cargo bay. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Flash, Harley, and all my legendaries. Catch you next year. Green Butterfly out.
Oh, she's irresistible. She's funny. You know what? She might have picked up on something there. Say hello to my little friend. That is probably the joke they were going with in a serious moment. That was funny.
That was really funny.
God, Justina, that's as funny as our funny quotes this week. Holy.
Maybe we can add her to our funny quotes.
Yeah, we should just put that in as a funny quote.
There we go.
What was that? There was a couple things in there that she said. Were you paying attention?
Yeah, I mean, she had a lot of really good points. The one that I wanted to touch on was that him seeing Snart was a manifestation of his guilt. And I thought that was an interesting take on why he was seeing Snart as, as an imaginary friend, basically. Because I thought maybe he himself was, questioning why he was doing it, but I like the idea that he feels guilt that he has accepted a new team and that he's starting to accept a new partner in Amaya. So I liked that point a lot, and I think that she's pretty spot on there.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
What about you?
Yeah, you got me laughing so hard, Justina, that I'm forgetting a lot of the rest of what you said, but I think you hit on some pretty valid points, as you always do, and we appreciate that. Actually, before we sign off from feedback, due to these shows being a little bit late, we got one last feedback email in the day after we finished recording, but since I'm behind on releasing these, Opal Drake, you get the lucky draw of me responding to your email right before the holidays. So he says, Opal Drake here, late as usual. Not as late as us. Didn't take notes this time, so just a few thoughts. Vixen's got a dolphin now, and she used it to swim. Well, yeah. Didn't that slow gun come with a manual? And even if it didn't, wouldn't it make more sense to keep shooting Reverse Flash with it until you had him contained? Standing around and gloating at him, maybe not the best plan. Well, it makes me wonder if there's kind of a charge on that gun, as we've seen before in other sci-fi shows with kind of laser-powered energy guns of some kind. They always seem to have a recharge between each blast. I don't know. Who knows? Are the Timeless and Legends writers talking to each other? This is the second or third time they've went to the same time in the same week. Not that I mind. The Timeless crew are welcome to cross over with the Legends. Fun episode. 8 zip gun bops of 10. I'm not watching Timeless, so I'm not sure, but you have mentioned it before, so that's kind of cool. Maybe they're fans of each other. Who knows? Cheers, Opal Drake. Alright. Well, thanks, Opal Drake. That's nice to get one last one in from you before the holidays. Thank you for that. Alright, well, we will take Justina's lead, and like we were saying, guys, again, we're sorry for the bit of delays this month. It's just the way it's been, but we totally appreciate and thank you all for sticking with us and hanging on.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate your patience.
Yeah, exactly. We just hope that you're looking forward to these shows when they do come out. And we'll give you something to listen to over the holidays.
Yay.
For sure. But, well, Harley, I think that's gonna do it for us. It's our mid-season finale. It's time for us to, say goodbye for a few weeks to everybody.
I know. It's gonna be weird to not be doing this for a while.
Yes, weird. I mean, especially with it ending on such a high note over the last couple of weeks. And
I know.
But it gives us something to look forward to. Hopefully they keep it up, you know, at this high level of entertainment, and it just keeps going for the second half.
Yeah, well, I mean, it should. I mean, we've got a pretty full second half of our season, or we should be.
Yeah, and actually on that note, we need to remind everyone one last time that Legends, when it comes back, the date is January 24th, that is a Tuesday. Yes. It airs after The Flash.
Yes, don't forget. And by don't forget, I mean everybody Facebook and tweet me so I don't forget.
And you know what that also means? That means that people, because our recording time is going to continue to stay Friday nights, so now people have Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, and Friday day to get us feedback. So essentially, we should get double the amount of feedback.
Yeah, no more excuses. We're giving you guys, what, 3 full days almost to get your feedback in.
Exactly.
So.
And that also allows, because, you know, we do want to talk a bit about Flash and Arrow, so that gives everyone a chance to watch Flash and Arrow as well before we record, so they can, if they want to ask us anything about those shows, they can.
Yeah, and more importantly, that gives me time to watch Flash and Arrow so I don't get spoiled.
So true, so true. Well, alright, partner in crime, it is time for you to be nice. No more being naughty.
Oh, but it's so much more fun to be naughty.
Well, if you really want a stocking full of coal, I will send you some.
I'm gonna laugh when I get one.
Alright, well, all our Legendaires out there, have a very safe and happy holiday from The Flash. I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you.
Yes, I will echo that sentiment. This is Harley Quinn. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas and have a Happy Hanukkah, because I understand Hanukkah is starting in a little couple of weeks. So throw that out there for any of our Jewish listeners, you know. I know a lot of people I know celebrate Christmas, but don't want to forget everybody else. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I say happy holidays, because not everybody celebrates Christmas the way that most of North America might, but you know what? I do, so.
And I do too.
Yeah. Merry Christmas is not meant to be offensive, and that's a whole other debate. I celebrate it, so I say Merry Christmas, and that's just supposed to be good feelings, good cheer towards people, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, happy holidays, happy New Year to everybody. We will see you in 2017. This is Harley Quinn, and I'm out.
And this is The Flash, signing off for 2016.